Hi, I'm Jim, and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop. We're going to take, hopefully, the differential apart on my Snapper. I've got the chain case apart. In the last video, I've got them cleaned up pretty good. My parts washer fell apart on me. The motor burned up, and I'm looking for a new one, so I can really clean these things up before I show you any issues with them. But first, I have to apologize to a viewer. Sent me a question on my email, and it was a two-part question, which are kind of hard to answer because if I read the whole thing, I forget, I'm old, so I have to use my tablet to read it and then use my phone to answer it. Well, I only answered one half because I didn't know the numbers for the parts he wanted, which now I have, but I don't know who he was. So I'm hoping he's watching all my videos. He wanted to know the numbers of the dust cap that goes on the outside of your bushing between your fender and your tire. I did finally find them. These are prices from Parts Tree. The left-hand side, that would be opposite of your differential. Now, most machines, the newer ones, have a lip seal that's built right into the end of the bushing. So you can just pop it out of the bushing and snap a new one in. The old ones did not. I should just bring you over here. This is an older machine, 25, 30 years old. I don't know how old it is. But this is the dust cap he's talking about on the opposite side of your differential. And it has a lip seal in it. And this is what they used to use. It's a hard plastic cap, but it would get worn from rubbing on the shaft and dirt would get in. These are obsolete. They don't make them anymore. What you need is one of these not plastic, they're a rubber lip, they call it a dust cap. And then inside of the dust cap, you put the lip seal in there and then slide the thing up on the brass bushing and you put a hose clamp around it to hold it in place. That way when you pump grease into here, it's going to fill this up and it'll also force it backwards and get the entire bushing lubricated. These I have the numbers for now. This one is a dust cap that goes on this side. It's got a, what is it, 1 1/8 hole in it, and then you snap in the lip seal. The hole size that's in the dust cap does not matter. The lip seal is what's going to seal the dirt out. If you look in here really close, well, you can see the hole is too big. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. On this you can see the hole is a little too big, but the lip seal is sealing that. Now I went over to my father-in-law's house. Boy, I don't know if you heard that or not, but I just dropped a little round mirror. Isn't that like 7 years bad luck? Oh, we're doomed. I went over to my father-in-law's and looked at that machine that I worked on for him. And the dust cap on this side has the 3/4 inch hole in it. So this hole is smaller, which really doesn't matter. But these are the numbers and prices. The left side of the machine, this side, that number for the dust cap is 7031 732YP. And that is $3.52. The seal that goes inside of it. From Parts Tree, it's actually cheaper than what I can get it from my bearing supplier. That number for the seal is 7014662YP. That is $5.76. Now, if you need the dust cap for the right side, that number, 7031732YP. And that one is also $3.52. The lip seal that goes inside of it, apparently they sell a ton more of them than they do these. The number for that one is 7011817YP, and that's only $3.19. So I'm sorry about the confusion on losing this email. I sure hope he's watching. If you want to, you can go on Parts Tree's website, and the model number for my father-in-law's machine is M as in Mary 281019BE, Bob Everest. You look up the tires, front and back, the back tires, sorry, they're not up front. And it will show you the dust caps. It'll give you the part numbers and the prices just like I gave you. Now, I have another issue on this Snapper body. I've got just tons of questions. We're going to go over here and answer these also. Now, we got this thing stripped down. It's a lot easier to see. The right-hand fender and differential belong right here. So with that removed, it opens this up very nice. Questions I've been getting a lot of. When I start my Snapper, starts fine. When I let out the clutch, the engine quits. What's wrong? Well, that's this little pesky thing right here. Now you can see it. This is a switch that when you step on your clutch and pull this yoke up, which pulls the chain case away from the drive disc, that depresses this poor little switch. And when you let your clutch out and your engine quits, that's the issue. It's this switch right here. Now on the side of the yoke, which is not on most yokes, there's a little piece, I don't know if I can do it, but keep out of the way. It's a little piece of spring steel. And that's so if you really mash down on your brake, if this was a solid piece of steel, it would probably crush this poor little switch. So they put a piece of spring steel on there. You can see it wiggling. Now, if you push your clutch all the way in, and for some reason it just does not start, this piece of spring steel may have got bent down. So check that. Or it could be any of the safety switches they put on these things. The newer the machine, the more of them pesky little things you're going to have. When we reassemble this, I'm going to go over all the safety switches as I put it back together and tell you their function, if they're normally open or normally closed, so you can check them yourself with a meter to see if they're actually good or bad. Now another issue I've been having, well, it's not really an issue I've been having, a lot of questions I've been having, are these yokes. How do you change them? They're really simple. And what's a bad one? Well, I'm going to show you a really bad one right here. See how this dips down? When that dips down this much, this is what, when this thing pivots, that's what pulls your chain case and your clutch into your drive disc. So if this is all worn right here, it's not pulling your chain case in far enough, and you're going to have slipping problems. Now, if you don't want to buy a new one of them, I had a viewer show me how he fixed his. This is my tool for checking my clutch disc, my drive disc. And it's just a flat piece, probably not even 1/8 of an inch thick. He took a piece of this and he cut it off this long. Drilled a couple holes, matching holes in this. He put it on the inside, but this is too long to get it in here. And he made this, he held it up here, clamped it in place, drilled a couple holes, and put a couple bolts in there, which made this flush again and with the right spacing between the hole. And you can see this, whoever drove this thing really liked reverse. I've never seen one more that bad in reverse. And it looks like it must have always ran in probably second gear. To get these off, this one's a little different than my old machine, but this one's a lot easier to see. This is your, I want to get this name right, this is your clutch link. This is what mounts up here and slides in these two pieces of plastic when you step on your clutch. This you do not have to take off. And this is where your spring hooks. These little plastic pieces are called your slide halves because you need two of them to capture this link so it slides up and down. You don't have to take this off. All of them, the new and old, both have these cotter keys. The old ones are on the outside where it's a little harder to get to. The new ones, they're on the inside. Go figure. Pull the cotter key off, slide this thing off to the side, you got a half out. Then on the bottom side of it, back here, there's a bracket bolted to the back of the machine. The old ones, they punched holes and bent a tab up instead of bolting this extra piece in here. And that's what these little bushings went in. I'll take this one off. These are plastic bushings. Okay, these little buggers, if I can get this off of here. This is what they call a yoke bearing. It is not a bearing, it's a plastic bushing. But you can see this is supposed to have this step in it, but if you index this around, you can see that's wore right through a big slot. That is going to let your yoke slop back and forth, and you're not going to get your chain case shoved into your drive disc properly. So when you take this out, check these little bearings and make sure you don't have that groove wore into them like this one's got. But that's all there is to it. You will have a bolt and a nut on each side of your yoke. Here's one here, one on this side that holds these little bearings in. Take them two bolts and nuts out, this thing will lift right out of here. You'll have to take your spring off, which is no big deal. They snap right out of there. Now on your newer models, your older models, your chain hooked, this is your, what is it? I forgot. This is your clutch link. On your older ones, you had 3 holes in your clutch link. Now, if your spring is getting weak and you've got it adjusted as tight as you can get it. It's still not driving the way you want. Take this off. Just drill a couple more holes in it. Put 5 holes in it. It doesn't matter how many holes it has. In your old machines, the spring hooked in the yoke. You have 2 holes down here for adjustment. In your new machines, they didn't hook to the yoke. The spring hooked in the actual back of the main case. If you look on the back, you'll see a slot and a hole and a little wire. That's the end of the spring, and you just pop it out like that. Makes it a little easier to change the spring, but you have no adjustment on the back of the spring. It hooks solid and it only goes in there one way. All your adjustment is up here, and this one has 5 holes in it. It's in the center hole. I'll probably leave it there until I get it reassembled and see how it runs. And if I have to, I'll move it up. Now, like I said, my parts washer, the pump burned up in it. It's a little cheap one. Father-in-law, mother-in-law got it for me for Christmas. It was kind of nice. I liked it. It was small. It was 2 gallon. I've been looking around for a replacement. I said, well, you know, I'd like a bigger one, like the 20 gallon, so you got a bigger tank to wash parts in and you're not slopping mineral spirits everywhere. Until I looked at the price of mineral spirits. 20 gallons of mineral spirits to fill this thing up is $160. The parts washer is only $119. How often are you going to change it? Realistically, I'm not sure. I think I'll stick with the, well, now they have a 3.5 gallon. They don't have a 2 gallon. I might stick with the small one. Okay, I got my board on here with the 2 holes drilled in it. We're going to flip this thing over, and I'm kind of curious myself what's inside of this thing. What does that Snapper lube look like? Speaking of Snapper lube, let me drag you over here. I had a viewer mention to me that Snapper lube, because it's thicker, is made for a low RPM or a low speed situation. Like supposedly these things are. 80-90 gear lube is made for like inside of an automotive transmission or the rear end, which is spinning faster. Well, let's take a look at this and see what you think on RPMs on this thing. I'm going to show you the chain case and the gears and the differential. Now keep in mind, this thing, a small engine runs at 3,000 RPMs, and if you don't kick your RPMs up where they're supposed to be, you're not going to have your full horsepower of your engine. So you want to have your engine running wide open if you need the horsepower. This electric motor that I have on this thing is 900 RPMs. So what you're going to be seeing this thing moving, you want to times by 3 at least. You want to times it by 3 plus 300 RPMs. Now, let me get you a flashlight. Okay, let's put a little light in this chain case. Now remember, this is going 1/3 the speed it should be going. I don't know about you, but that looks like it's whipping pretty fast, and it should throw around whatever kind of lubricant you put into this thing. Now the differential is about the same thing. Myself, I think that's spinning at a pretty good RPM. And that's only spinning at 900 RPMs. I don't know, I guess it's up to you. A lot of people, I've had emails where guys have sent me a letter. I'd like to read it to you. Stop telling people to use the wrong thing. I'm not telling you what to use. I'm just telling you what I use and how I build these or put them back together so that lubricant doesn't leak out. If you don't do it the way I do it, it's going to leak on you. But if you've got a leak, it doesn't matter what you put in it, it's going to leak out. And I have some pictures to show you. I believe these are from Joe. Now this is his chain case. And if you can look at this and identify it, this right here is his band brake. And that's where this is Snapper Lube. This is where it's leaking out. He says, my brake won't work. It's covered with this grease. Well, that's because he's got a leak in it. And he didn't put retaining compound on the bearing when he pressed it into the chain case cover. And he didn't put retaining compound on the sprocket and shaft when he pushed that into the bearing. So it's leaking out terrible. So if you've got a leak, you want to fix them, because no matter what you put in there, it's going to leak out. I hope I answered those questions. Now let's pull this thing apart and see what it looks like inside. Okay, I know you're all going to love this. I have my magic gloves on. I get so many comments. Why do you wear them gloves? Well, one reason, my water is still froze out here in my shop and I can't wash my hands before I go in the house. And my wife always loves that when I come in the house all greasy. Now I broke this nut loose already that holds the sprocket and gear inside of here. And now we're going to pop these. I don't know how many there are. 13 of them. Oh, isn't that a lucky number? Yeah, after breaking that mirror, oh my God, I'm going to die tonight. Okay, let me spin these bolts out of here. I'll be right back. Okay, I got all 13 of them bolts out. Let me move you over here. We'll take this nut off that holds that assembly in. We'll pull off the dust cap, maybe. Feels like it's painted right in place. Boy, I'll say it was. And let's see if we can get this cover off. Well, it's not dried up too bad. Like I said, this is only a 2012. It's starting to cake around the edges because of the RPMs that this thing spins. It is going to throw that stuff out to the outer case and just cake it all over. But this is not in too bad a shape. I'm kind of impressed. There's a big gob of it right here that's all hard. And it's all hardened up around here. But for the most part, there's still some inside of here that's still in pretty good shape. So, not bad. We're getting a little dragged out here, time-wise. See the little shiny things on the floor? That's the mirror. That's the mirror I broke. So, I'll get a parts washer hopefully this week. Get all this mess cleaned up thoroughly so we can see what it actually looks like. Don't forget to subscribe. I I keep track daily of the views that I have and the subscribers I have. I probably shouldn't do that because they go up and down. Some people subscribe, some people cancel out. What can you do? So subscribe, hit that little like button. Now I've had a viewer contact me and ask me if I have, well actually I had two. Ask me if do you have all your videos on a DVD or a flash drive? No, they're on YouTube. They wanted to buy them. I said, you can watch them for free. Just subscribe to my channel and you can watch any video you want anytime you want. If you like it, it will save it to your email. And then you can watch it easier anytime you want to. I would like to figure out how to get all my videos on a flash drive. So if any of you computer guys out there know how to do it and can put it in layman's terms I can understand, maybe I'll do that. They asked me, do you have an index of your videos with the content in them? No, don't have that either. What's in the video is in the title. I try to title them so you know what is the video's about without watching the whole thing and say, oh, I didn't want to see this one. It's the next one I wanted. So I try to title them so you can figure it out a little easier. So don't forget to subscribe. It really does help me get these videos out to help you. And then don't unsubscribe. So until next time, work safe, have fun, and we'll talk to you soon. See you later.